Okay, everybody awake? Hopefully.
Yes.
1413, chapter quiz. Let's go through those questions before we move to the next chapter.
We didn't do the quiz.
We didn't do the who?
The quiz on chapter 16.
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
Okay.
1413. Okay? Okay, what's the first one?
D.
C.
What components is considered to be?
What components
Oh,
consist
okay, yeah. C.
unsprung weights?
Yeah,
Wheels
C.
and tires. Number 2, what's number 2?
Springs?
Gotta have some sort of spring, right? Yeah. All suspension types use one type of spring form or another. Okay. We did 4 torsion bars, right?
What's
Should not be mixed right to left, and they are adjustable for right height.
3 is pound.
3 is what?
3 is
Oh, I'm sorry, we skipped 3, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, spring rate is in units of pound per inch, yeah, 8. A. Yeah, I skipped that one. So
We did 4
that-
and 5 already.
What's that?
We did 4 and 5 already.
We did 4 and 5. Okay, yep, we did. What suspension component is used to counteract body lean during cornering?
Stabilizer?
Stabilizer bar or sway bar. Okay, 7. Pearson strut. Takei says, in most applications, the entire strut assembly rotates when the front wheels are turned. Definition B says, Pearson strut type suspension uses only one control arm and one ball joint per side.
B is right.
B is right, yep. One control arm, one ball joint per side. The strut becomes your other pivot point and your structural part. What's that? Yep. We did the air shock one, right?
B, yeah.
Just B, yep. I think we did 9 too. The what is a structural part of the vehicle? The application strut is actually a
Yeah.
structural part of the vehicle.
Yes.
And the bump stops are to isolate suspension from the frame of the vehicle. We have two more chapters to cover because the test tomorrow is going to cover 113 to 118. Be ready. I forgot to figure out everybody's grade. Let's see if I can do that real quick.
Bless you.
Thank you. I think it's drunk. Hey, don't forget to get out gas cards this month.
Hmm?
Don't forget to get out gas cards.
I don't never forget.
Hmm?
I don't never forget. That's for gas.
Hey, you get one.
I know.
What are you saying?
I said I'll never forget. That's free gas.
Oh. That's what we're trying to do.
No, I don't get it.
You don't get one.
I didn't get it.
Oh.
Let me get it then, since you got it like that.
What about you? Yeah, over last week.
No, but still.
Y'all get one for March? I get one for March.
Oh, now you got, no, you beginning of the. Oh, alright.
Yeah, I think the dealership should be giving us gas cards too, bruh.
Hmm?
Much work we do up there and not getting paid for it.
Yeah, I mean, that is hella money there, bro. Me and my day, bro, we doing 2 cars each, bro, this nigga not even doing that, bro.
Ooh,
I mean, I'm not saying nothing, but he was teaching me, but at one point, nigga, we just doing 2 cars, each bring another car in, freaking it out. Yeah.
I feel like dude might be bullshitting, but last week when I was at the dealership, the dude I was working with, he was like, hey, bro, we did them 4 tires. It was like 2.5 hours of work. We did it in like 30 minutes. I'm gonna pay you for that. I'm like, shit, say no more. He might be bullshitting. He might act like he forgot, but I'm not really tripping on it. But if you do pay me, cool.
he ain't gonna pay you back.
I'm pretty sure you're not.
Damn. Shit, you did, Craig, that'd be dope. I wish we was getting paid doing this shit, bro.
Yeah,
Y'all be splitting this shit, bro.
I swear to
I know I
God,
should
bro.
be paying, nigga, I be splitting, bro. Free
I be doing more work than most of the motherfuckers that actually work there, bro.
No, I be watching it. I be doing something, but not crazy.
Shit, last week I did a whole car by myself because they was short a person. I did a couple.
Damn.
I did a whole B1.
Free.
I know, I don't really trust that shit fun, low key.
It is. But still, I'd like to get paid for it.
That's great. They was sort of person and they keep the whole thing.
Like, even if it ain't straight cash, I'll take a gift card. Fuck it. Hola. Any word on the boots?
They're here.
Oh, they're here?
Yeah,
What's this?
your grade.
Oh, cool.
What you got? Your current grade in the class. If you do not have 70%, you have some work to do, okay? You cannot pass under 70%, alright? Or if you are at 70%, you got some work to do, okay?
He slammed that one pretty hard.
Okay.
So do we get our boots
what-
today?
What were you saying?
We getting our boots
Oh.
today? I would love to get those today.
We got a boost today?
Or at least
least tomorrow before the dealership.
I want to try them all.
I'm gonna try
I
them.
feel like a working man.
Like a working man?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for reminding me. I got him in my car. I'll go get him.
Okay, thank you.
You need help?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you need any help?
Ron?
What's that?
You need help?
Do I look like I need help?
Yes.
I got it.
14.
There's only 7 people in here. That's half.
Putting a boot in each box, separate from each other.
What's your grade?
B.
What percentage?
80.
I'm right above you. What you got?
Me?
Yeah.
Charles got 100%.
I know Charles got
Hey, right
I
there.
got an A.
You got 70? What you got?
87.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you and him in the same ballpark. Okay. How about you?
Got 70.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you looked at Tiffany before?
I got an 81
I
too.
was gonna get done that, but this decent freaky ass.
They got the Homer Simpson
Nah, bro, you
special
gotta
in
eat
that
those
motherfucker.
But
That looks good, bro. Which one?
I hope it leaves. Leave free.
That one, bro. That one good.
I feel like Lord.
I'm not leaving you wrong, but
When you got the pink one?
hey, I don't wanna hold up there.
Hey, you was making Homer's voice earlier. Pink one right there for you.
Alright, alright.
Nah,
He's a functional suspension. It's
It's good, bro. I told you, bro. You starstruck how good it is. Here, bro, I'll do a full piece. I'm not even hungry.
but take that thing.
I'm not eating that shit.
Take that thing.
I'm not eating that shit, bro.
Wasteful human being, bro.
You didn't eat it, then. Oh. I'm not picking my donuts. If I'm getting a whole room, if I'm getting a class of donuts, then I'm getting straight classic. Everybody getting a class of donuts. Glazed, everybody getting glazed, bro.
This might be elementary.
It's good, huh? Yeah, you were called.
But this tastes like something elementary.
Do it taste like medicine?
Nah. I can't think what
Chocolate milk?
That's good.
it is. Nah, it was like, it's very delicious.
I swear, if he come in with somebody carrying boxes, I'm gonna be mad. You told us you didn't need help. Liar.
Real nigga right there.
And
Just
what if they
lying
don't
for no
fit?
reason. Huh?
What if they don't fit?
You know, the mud.
Shit, I got mine a size bigger. If they don't fit, I'm suing.
Then he's gonna take like 2 more weeks to
Shit,
return
4. It took 8 weeks to get here.
2 months?
Yeah.
Oh, done?
Did he get
February 19th was no, February 20th because it was Labor Day.
So it was the first day here that he took our boot sizes?
Every 2
Or was it
years.
the second week or something?
It was like the end of that week, February, March, April.
You like,
So yeah, about 2 months, almost 2 months completely in 11 days.
you like America more or Africa? I want to go to the Middle East.
Hmm?
Say, let's go. Let's go to Ghana, bro.
What happened?
He wants to go to the motherland.
I wonder what Tiffany got for her grade.
She's good.
Yeah, I feel like
I know she's good, but
I
Above
like
70.
How are you?
what type of steering knuckles are used in I-beam or twin I-beam from suspensions?
37?
Hello,
You ever eat kids?
Hired?
I need a fucking
You
haircut.
got him hired? Okay. You came.
I wonder where he went that.
Come out here
Oh,
with
it's that
me.
one.
Damn. No, I didn't take the elevator.
There, over there.
Uh-huh.
See that?
Okay, hopefully,
Are you here together?
hopefully they're all there and they all fit.
Did they go to your house or did they come up here?
No, I picked him up from the dealer.
Oh, okay.
The Audi dealer last week, I just forgot I had him. Okay.
I'm gonna just say it now before someone else do. I got a 10.5.
Did we make them one
Who else,
size?
who had 10? Hopefully a whole bunch of you, because I got like 3 10.
We were like one size above our own size, right?
One size less.
Oh, less. So if I'm
Yeah.
a 12, then I would be an 11.
Yeah, I got a 10. I might have said 10 if there's no 10.5.
I got 11.
Oh, 9? Oh, 11? That's all right, dude.
Yeah, I'm 10.
I might have a 10 too. There's no 10.5 now?
Kind of small.
Oh, that's right, you got shoes. Oh, that's right.
If mine don't fit, I'll try it.
They're
The same size?
They're the same. Damn. I'll just do these.
Oh, the shit in here.
What size are those?
I ain't gonna lie, I would've just took them anyway. Oh, and they're sponsored by Goodyear.
You gotta walk around
Oh, yeah,
like
that's
mom
good.
said.
Like mom said.
You know what?
Yeah, just
Payless?
like your mom said, walk around and.
Yeah,
Payless.
these fit perfectly.
Gotta run around the hallway.
You take a quick
Oh,
little
they got a
step.
rank on the bottom of them? Pretty cool, right?
Yeah. See? Is it real?
Like, can you take it off and use it?
Yeah.
Be cool. Lift your foot up.
What size?
You got a
Why did I
tool
forget
right
the
there.
paper was in here?
Okay.
Just took it out.
Right there. You don't want.
This fit perfect.
You can do it.
Oh, well,
I mean, you're not good those.
are they okay? Cause I
Nice
kinda
and
need to know
spacious.
now, yeah?
Really good.
Okay?
I'm ready
You
to
good?
stomp them off.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm finna wear these for the rest of the day.
Look like a $200
Break 'em
set
in.
of work boots in there, eh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try my best not to crease.
Come on, bitch.
Oh, there's donuts left, Tiffany's not here, that's right.
Some of us got a second one too.
Good.
It says oil resisting.
They better be. Fucking shop boots. They're nice and comfortable too. I thought they would be more stiff at the bottom.
Nigga, what?
Like rub.
You got both of them on, bro.
Imagine I come to school dressed like this and big ass work boots. And I'm dressed like this, just shorts and a hoodie, just go to the shop. What's good? What we doing today? I might have to get some thick ass socks so I can feel them bitches pushing on the back of my calf.
I think you with this shit.
That's my only problem.
Bless your soul.
But they still toes.
Nah, they hard.
Pretty hard not to do toes.
You don't need steel toes with these motherfuckers.
Have you met somebody named Josiah, man, huh?
Josiah?
Yeah.
Is that everything?
Yeah, like a tall black dude.
Oh, you like
Beard.
him? Not the one you.
This motherfucker look like that one dude. Like, anytime you got a car trouble, he's like, yeah, that's all in here.
They got
Like
warranty.
that. Got the big ass beard. So what?
Warranty.
Warranty.
You got a keychain, bro. Keychain.
Got
That's
a
a keychain? Where at? In the box.
Yeah, it's in the box.
Yeah, I ain't got no damn keychain.
I don't got one of these.
Okay.
Huh?
I don't got one of these.
Yeah. Where my keychain at? This is
You know that one?
It's attached right
Oh,
here.
it's attached to the boot.
Yeah.
Where?
Yours fell off.
It's inside the boot?
No, it's on. It's right here on the.
Oh, yeah, I can pull it off of it.
Can I actually use this? I can use this on my RC car. Hot Wheels. I actually have a whole wall full of fucking Hot
You
Wheels.
got pictures of it?
Huh? My Hot Wheels? Yeah. I got a steering wheel on it too. I got like full collections. There's a company that went out of business a while ago, and they don't make them anymore. So for I have the whole set, and I could sell them all for like probably around like $600 for the whole set.
Yeah.
It's like a little toolbox. It's cool. I'm gonna put this on my keychain right now. I'm so glad they're here now. Oh damn. Let me put this away. Should I keep this warranty?
Yeah. If you see a Snap-on truck and you got messed up boots, tell them
Hey
something.
bro.
Warranty.
I lost my boots on the stove.
I'm not wearing it.
Against manufacturer defect only.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. So if they're oil resistant, they're not water resistant, right?
I'm not wearing it.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming so.
All right. Is everybody done with the 23 question, whatever the thing was I just gave you?
Yeah, we can go ahead.
We can start it off.
We got these two
You're looking at me
chapters.
like you don't know what I'm talking about. Didn't I just give everybody a 23 question quiz?
Oh, we did? We got a test?
It's right here in front of us.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, I'm supposed to be the one that doesn't have a very good memory, not you. You're way younger than me. All right. Let me bring this up.
I still
real
feel
quick.
like I have the boots on.
Let me bring
Like,
this
it's
up.
because you do
real
have
quick
the boots
here.
on.
What number is this? 11? 11, where are you? There you are.
This side over here is way more filled up now. But that side over here, these six right there, that's the JDM tuners one, and they don't make them no more. They went out of business a couple years ago. But I ain't never selling them.
Till you need tools.
Shit, if I need tools, I'm gonna just start working harder. Give me flat rate right now.
Hook a brother up.
Exactly what he said. Now I can go to work comfortably and not bust my ass in oil.
Okay, so
You said what?
I'm like, how did you make it like for the suitcase?
You gotta pull this side down too. So pull this up, put this side in here. And pull this down, that down. Pop that out. There you
Put my lunch in here.
go. We ready, sir?
Yeah.
All right. What is unit body construction? Is that B? Combination of the body and frame structure?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Got
Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so on is B, yeah.
2.
Are some of these questions on the Wednesday test too?
I'm sorry.
Are some of these questions on the Wednesday test too?
I'm pretty sure.
Similar to them, yeah, but mostly if you study the little 10 question ones that we go through, you'll be good. No, nobody should have any problem with these tests because honestly, there's nothing on there we haven't talked about. There's nothing on there really that hasn't been on one of these quizzes. So,
Got you.
okay, so you guys should be okay.
Question.
Question.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
What's the highest score anybody's ever like graduated with, like the grade? Has anybody ever graduated with 100%?
No.
Like 95?
However, the last class I can't remember what her score was, but there was a girl in the class.
I've heard stories
who
about
did-
her
Who did really
that you
good.
probably wouldn't
Molly.
like to hear.
Yeah, she was actually a really, really pretty girl too. I mean.
Yeah,
just,
he told
you
me.
know, just-
The dude that told me, he said she was like a model or something.
Oh, yeah, she,
And
I mean, when she first told me she wanted to take this class, I'm looking at her going,
you
are
do?
you sure?
So
Because, I mean, she's just the
Yeah.
last person you'd ever expect to
Exactly.
see working on a car. Just
I'm
really pretty blonde girl, blue eyed, you know. Just,
tell you a story. Not that it matters anymore since they're not in the class. Told me some stuff about her.
Who did?
Alex.
Oh, what'd he say?
He said there was, I think his name was Aiden. Aiden. It was like a really smart guy.
Uh-huh.
He knew everything, answered everything, and then everybody sat behind him
Uh-huh.
so they could copy his answers on the ASCs or whatever. Like they would remember which one was which, because apparently back then they weren't switched around. It was the
Oh,
same
really?
question after the other. And he said they would sit in the back and use Quizlet, which is like you could take a picture of it and answer it.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, she just did that all day. Like they would go home, study over the phone and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
they did.
One of the guys did do that. He created like a group.
Yeah.
And then he put these quizzes on there. They'd all take them together as a class.
Mhm.
They actually, that whole class got along really good. They all got to be like really
Yeah.
good friends, really kind of a tight knit group, like, you know, like they'd known each other for years.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty cool. It was a very good class as far as everybody working together. They all studied together. They all helped each other out.
He also said that they were like real big assholes to you. He said he didn't like, he didn't agree with it. Like he didn't, he felt bad about it. But he said they were all like assholes towards you.
To me?
Yeah, like they were rude, or
Yeah, well, they got, yeah, they did get a little, I don't know, maybe disrespectful a little
Yeah.
bit. I was like, you know what,
it is what it is.
you guys better settle down, because I do have the power to kick your ass out.
Hey, he told me a whole lot of stories about the last class. I'm like, damn. Compared to us, like you guys.
Have you have you ever had like more students, like the whole class filled, or
No.
10?
Well, actually, this class started out to be the biggest one, because it was 9 originally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is about right, I'm usually around 5 to 7.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, this is about the right size for normal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Okay, 2.
What weight measurements are important for vehicles?
A.
Gross vehicle weight, curb weight, okay, sounds good. This is an easy one, we've done this already.
What determines the basic size and shape of a vehicle?
Platform.
That
B.
is called the platform, yes, basic size and shape.
Within the suspension system, which the transfer weight to the wheels,
Springs.
springs.
The springs, absolutely.
Number 6, right?
5.
5.
What are the common materials used for springs and automotive suspension systems? I'll put A.
A is good.
What affects the strength and handling characteristics of a coil spring?
A, coil diameter, number of coil, spring height, diameter of the steel coil, good.
What is the recommended practice for using spacers between coils of a coil spring? Is it B?
It is recommended to avoid spacers, they cause damage.
So what is their purpose
What is the purpose?
of spacers?
Well, let's just put it this way, no car ever came with them. They're one of those aftermarket things that, the aftermarket will sell you anything, even if it's garbage. They'll sell you a head gasket sealer if you go and look in the chemical aisle. Doesn't work, but they sell it. A
Okay.
spring spacer is supposed to just help a weak spring, but really, they're just a waste of time, so.
Y'all gotta pass like regulations for them to be able to sell
In Vegas?
No, because they get around that somehow. It's kind of like, I'll give you an example.
Vegas
um,
doesn't do vehicle inspections.
No,
No.
They don't?
No.
no safety inspection.
Huh?
No safety inspection.
Yeah, no safety inspection.
And mission, yeah,
Yeah, emissions is different.
Yeah. yeah. So, I'll tell you a little story. It kind of goes along with what you were saying. Catalytic converters came out on cars in 1975. Okay, people hated them. They were restrictive. They were ugly. Most of the cars didn't run at the right air fuel ratio, so they would smell like rotten egg. They were horrible back then when they first came out. So this company came out with this thing they called a test tube. You pull your catalytic converter off, put this tube in there to test it. So they got away with selling because it was illegal to take it off. Well, they marketed it as a test tube. Well, take your converter off, put this tube in there, and that'll tell you if your converter's bad, right? Is your car run a lot better, right? And then they said, well, you're supposed to put it back on. Nobody did. They just bought that tube and threw the catalytic converter away.
So they find just like loopholes
Yeah,
to sell.
yeah. So they just call
A lot
it
of the
something
shit was
that's
in.
not, you know, not gonna violate any safety standard or law.
While you were telling that story, it kind of made me think of something. You said back then people didn't really like the catalytic converters because like the way they were, like they smell.
A lot of people don't like them now, but.
Exactly, and that's what I was saying.
You
Like,
should have, back then, they
people
were
don't like 'em
horrible.
now.
They
Yeah.
were horrible. Plus, the cars had carburetors on back then. They didn't run at the right air fuel ratio in order for the catalytic converter to work right.
mhm.
So they were honestly terrible back then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's hunks of extra metal in the car.
Yeah.
What question are we on?
Okay,
Eight?
so where are we at?
8.
8? What does the spring rate reflect?
Who's reading?
You.
Oh. A. I say it's
How much weight it takes to compress the spring and start to mount? Yeah, 8 is A.
What is the purpose of rubber bushings in leaf springs?
There's a C.
See, to act as noise and see?
Correct, is a noise and vibration insulator, yep. Go between the leaves. Auxiliary or helper leaves in the leaf spring. That just means adding more leaves. What's the purpose of that?
A.
Provide additional carrying or load carrying capacity.
Is that what you think it is? Okay, so if you were putting a helper in there, that would obviously help it carry more load, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it is A though, right?
Uh-huh, it is.
Just making sure.
11.
All right. What are torsion bars made of, Terrence?
Spring steel.
No,
D.
straight steel bars, yeah, D. Spring steel would be a regular spring, even though torsion bars are kind of acts as a spring, it's not really a spring. Okay, 12, we're at 12, yeah.
What's the purpose, what is the function of suspension links and arm, A?
To provide transverse and longitudinal wheel support, yay, that's right.
What are anti-squat and anti-dive-in suspension systems? Types of stabilizer bars?
No,
D.
no.
D.
Types of leaf springs?
What's that?
Types of leaf springs?
Nope,
They're design factors?
they are.
I couldn't
They're
find that on
factors in
there.
the design of the
He
system.
talked about it a lot. He
And
said,
there's squat
remember when
and
your car
dive.
died?
Oh
like when
wow,
you
it's
brake?
literally.
Yeah.
I sat here reading this for like 5 minutes and didn't find it. I look over now and I find it the second I look at it. Two very important design factors are called anti-squat and anti-dive. Damn.
There you
What page is
go.
it?
1401 at the bottom.
Okay.
Literally the first sentence.
That was- you read
Okay,
it.
number 14.
What is the purpose of steering knuckles in suspension systems? C?
C?
Yeah.
Nope, that would
B?
be strut, that would be strut rods.
Is it B?
Provide pivot points for your steering.
Mm.
I want to play a Jeopardy game, but like with these answers, with these
We
questions.
actually did that in class.
Can we do it?
I don't know how they found it.
Damn.
But we used to play it as a class. It was actually pretty cool. I put that.
I'm gonna talk to
that
Alex
answer up
and
there
see if he
they
knows
were-
how to do it.
Yeah, uh-huh.
But it's B though, right? 14?
14, provide pivot points for steering, yeah.
Okay. Double checking.
What type of steering
Knuckles.
are you using? One beam or twice?
Twin I-beam or twin I-beam front suspensions. What type of steering knuckles do they use in those? You don't see them anymore. They're older systems. They were in bigger trucks and really, really old cars.
Kingpin?
100-year-old cars.
The beam?
Yeah, Kingpin, yeah. That's the one.
Is I-beam just I-beam or does the I stand for something?
Okay, let's find a picture here. Actually, the page we're gonna be on, look at 1415, look at the picture in the middle on the left. It's just basically two big long steel bars they call an I-beam, just because it's just a
You said 14, 15?
1415, yeah. The picture in the middle on the left. See where it says I-beam axles?
Yeah, I-beam axles.
Yeah, twin I-beam, that would be the twin I-beam, one on each side.
Where
It
did you
just,
see
it
that
just
at?
provides a point for pivot and point for the
Those
spring to
green
go.
things.
It was a weird
Oh, okay, I got
old
you, okay.
suspension. But those used a Kingpin, you'll see it in the top of that.
I see lock pin. Oh, never mind. I see it.
The big giant one on the bottom, kind of
Typical
bottom,
pin
the
pin
Kingpin.
used with
It's,
the
it was just slid through the steering knuckle and gave it a pivot point to turn.
Gotcha.
All right, so where are we at?
16.
16, right, yeah.
Nasir.
What is the function of a control arm in the suspension system? B. Or is that the sway bar? Should be a sway bar.
Allow the front wheels to move up and down, side to side for corner, or side to side steering. That is not the function of
That'd be
the
A?
control arm, yeah. To connect the knuckle, wheel flanges to frame, pivot point on the bushing. A for 16.
17.
T.
What is the purpose
No.
of all suspension system?
Now, if you'll notice, B is the same answer as it was for the other one.
What?
16 and 17 both
Have the
have
same
B
deal.
as the same
C2.
wording. Only 17,
Actually, all of them are the same
All the
except
same
for A.
answers.
we do
Oh,
have.
they
that
all
one,
are the same
yeah.
answer.
I'll put A.
That was the last answer.
16 was A, 17 is B.
Pretty
Ball
much
joint
just gave us
suspension,
an
allow
answer.
front wheels to move up and down, side to side for steering.
What is the function of strut rods and suspension systems? C?
D.
D,
C.
Oh, D.
F.
Strut rods.
it's C.
Okay.
Uh,
I heard him say C, but you didn't answer, so I thought we were wrong.
Yeah, sometimes I can't distinguish C and D and B. They all sound the same to me sometimes.
I'm just gonna start saying.
However, it does do this.
It does.
Prevents the lower control arm from movement during braking and acceleration, but C is the more correct answer.
What the fuck is that?
19.
Did my fucking braid come undone?
You're 19.
Oh, my fault. What is the purpose of shock absorbers in a vehicle suspension system? Is that the what's it called? B?
Yep.
Oh,
Motion
my
of
hair
spring
tie.
prevent bouncing after hitting bumps.
My hair tie broke.
And if the shocks are worn out, your car will keep bouncing after you hit a bump. Or a little uneven spot in the road.
20. What is the purpose of gas charged shocks in a vehicle suspension system?
C, yeah. Yep. Certainly not gonna increase the weight, and you don't wanna decrease the handling of the vehicle. You don't wanna decrease the ride height of the vehicle. C is really the only logical answer. 21.
What type of shock absorber are used in the rail vehicle to provide a proper vehicle wide height while carrying heavy loads?
Hydraulic?
Baseball.
What type of shocks are used in the rear vehicle to provide a proper vehicle ride height when carrying heavy loads?
It's hydraulics, right?
No.
Air? Inflated?
Air, inflatable, shock absorber, yes.
Lincoln.
That airbag will adjust the ride height when you're carrying a load.
What is the purpose of a bump stop in the suspension system? I put the,
B.
Absorb, isolate suspension from the body, frame of body, yep. B for that one. And the track rod, pan hard rod, car question, both the same thing. Use in a rear suspension, what does it do?
To keep the rear axle center of the vehicle.
That is what it does.
B?
Yep, keep the rear axle centered under the vehicle. All right. Well, anybody get 23 of them right? Of course.
I did.
4, 5, 6.
I did.
7, 8,
Yeah.
9.
For real?
Yeah. Damn, for real.
You got them all right?
Yeah.
Damn.
You don't trust me. He said, for real. You sounded so disappointed when you said it too.
I thought you were messing with me.
No.
Good.
I'm not gonna mess
How
around.
about how did everybody else do?
3.
For real.
All right, doing good. Let's do 117. This is front suspension and a little bit of service of the front suspension. So we talk about how to do things like replace ball joints, bushing, stuff like that. This one has quite a few pages to it. The last part of it's just a strut replacement. Strut replacement's actually pretty easy.
Ouch.
The only thing hard about doing a strut is if you don't buy the strut with the spring on it. If you don't buy the quick strut, sometimes they call them, then you have to take the spring off of the old one and put it on the new one. But just my recommendation. If you're gonna change the struts on something, if they offer the quick strut for it or the loaded strut, whatever they call it, it's complete with the spring on it, buy it that way. Saves you the trouble of getting a spring compressor, changing the spring over. It's a lot faster, saves you a lot of trouble, a lot of labor. And you're gonna get paid the same. Do it the easy way, okay, work smart. All right? Okay.
I got a question real quick.
Uh-huh.
Did we even go over the twin I-beams in the last chapter? I don't
For a
remember.
hot second, and the reason we didn't is because you don't see it anymore. It's an
Okay.
obsolete suspension system.
Gotcha.
The last time they put that on something was probably in the, I don't know, 60s or 70s on
No.
trucks.
How
You
old
just,
is this
you
book?
just don't see I-beam suspensions anymore.
Okay.
All right. Okay, on this one, we're gonna go through the different front suspension types. We talked about the SLA or short long arm. Strut suspension we'll go through. How to perform a road test, dry park test. We talked about the dry park test before, haven't we? In the other chapter, I can't remember. Does that sound familiar? We did it. We did talk about a dry park test, right? I think there was something like that in the manual transmission from last week, wasn't there? I don't know, maybe not. Oh, no, I'm thinking of that neutral run-up test, I think.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
but
okay, yeah, this is different, okay.
Okay.
Diagnosis of ball joints, kingpins, again, you're not gonna see kingpins, so I wouldn't worry too much about those, but you still have to know a little bit about them. Diagnosis of shocks and struts. How to replace a McPherson strut, again, those are pretty easy, and if you're gonna do it, see if you can get a quick strut with the spring already in it, makes the job a whole lot easier. You can do it in, well, depending on how many you've done, If you're experienced at it, you could probably do 2 of them in maybe a little over an hour. And again, a lot easier, but if you have to change the springs over, it adds a lot of time to it, plus you gotta put in a spring compressor. It's just work that you just really don't have to do if you can get away with not doing it. Diagnosis of strut rod bushings, front coil springs, steering knuckles, torsion bars, control arm bushings. This is part of your A4 for next Wednesday.
Gotcha.
Early cars and trucks used a solid or straight front axle to support the wheels. Those were the I-beam, kingpin type stuff like that. You don't worry too much about that. I don't think they're gonna question you on anything that has to do with kingpin or I-beam suspension. Because again, it's just, oh, see what it says, early cars and trucks? Early meaning like way before we were born. As you can see, that thing is like 100 years old. So basically, again, the kingpin was just a pivot point that went through the steering knuckle that allowed it to turn, right? And bushings in it, sometimes they would wear out, they'd have to be replaced as well, but. There's a picture of it, there's your I-beam, okay, this would be the twin I-beam, so you got one here, you got one here.
Quick question. When you hit a bump with when you hit a bump, what is the noise they make sometimes? I feel like it's like a weird noise when you hit a bump.
Oh, that could be a lot of different things, I know what you're talking about. Usually you hear it in colder weather, because sometimes cars like to creak when in the colder weather, and then when it warms up, that noise will go away. It could be a bushing, it could be a strut, you know, it could be a lot of things,
I
but
mean, it's bad, right? It's just-
not necessarily, yeah. I mean, if it's what I think you're talking about, normally it's nothing to worry about, but it could be, you know, just depending on what it is, but again, if you're talking about what I think you're talking about, it's usually not a problem. Radius rod bushing noise. Let's just see, clicking sound and brake. Well, we'll get more into that. This is what they're talking about. Again, you won't really see this anymore. This is an I-beam again. That's just a radius rod bushing. I don't think we can worry too much about that. This is more popular. SLA uses a short upper control arm and a long lower control arm, usually referred to as an SLA. Strut rod, also called a reaction rod, that provides axle, supports the axle during braking acceleration forces. That strut rod is, they're told that's different than, oh yeah, okay, that's still front, okay. I thought they were talking about a, track rod first. Okay, coil spring front suspensions. Locating the coil spring on the lower control arm is the most common type of SLA suspension configuration. Torsion bar front suspensions will use an SLA that uses a longitudinal solid steel bar, especially in the trucks. They did use a torsion bar on some older Chrysler products, but you don't really see those too much anymore on a car. You will on some trucks. Okay, on the SLA suspension, the upper control arm is shorter and the lower one is longer. Okay, lower, upper. They just decided to call that just a SLA, short long arm suspension. Control arm, by the way, is what those are. See how this control arm, like I talked about a little bit ago, it's only got one mounting point, one pivot point, instead of two like the upper. That's the purpose of this track, or this strut rod. Okay, to keep this arm from being able to rock back and forth. Okay? This one you don't have to worry about because it has two solid mounting points. It can't turn really side to side. SLA using a coil spring, again, locating it on the lower control arm is the most popular type. They do rearrange it sometimes. The reason for this would be what? Why did they move the spring to the upper control arm instead of the lower control arm? Where was our other picture? Okay, so there you go. Spring is located on the lower control arm, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would be the purpose of moving it to the top control arm if the other way is more popular?
Is it because the CV axle goes through where it's supposed to be?
Exactly. Front wheel drive. The axle has to have some place to go, right? They can't run it through the spring, so they just move the spring. Okay? This would be on a rear wheel drive car. Obviously no drive axle for the front wheels, right?
Yeah.
Good, you caught that. No wonder you got them all right on the test. Okay. Torsion bar. Again, this is going to take the place of a spring. You see there's no spring here, right? This becomes the spring. This is a little adjuster bolt. If you want to raise or lower the height of the vehicle, you just tighten or loosen this bolt. Okay? What it does is it puts more or less tension on this arm, which would cause this to move one way or the other. And the torsion bar is going to be located in the lower arm. Traveling down the road, watching what it does when you hit a bump. Which one of those ball joints is the load carrying ball joint?
Right there next to the tire.
The bottom one, right? Because of where the spring is located. Okay, the top one is the follower. Got it? Got it.
See.
What is a coil over shock suspension? Some applications, the spring and shock absorber are combined to fit within the upper and lower A-arms. Makes it simple, lightweight front suspension type. Used in a variety of vehicles. SLA suspension using a coil over shock assembly. So now you have your shock absorber and your spring all in one. Groovy, right?
Yeah.
Like, wow, I haven't heard that word in a long time. Or maybe you've never heard it.
Groovy?
Yeah.
Oh, I used to watch Scooby-Doo all the time, so that's Jack's
Oh, did you?
I used to love Scooby-Doo as a kid.
Scooby-Doo is awesome.
Mhm.
I like the movie, man.
You know those little Scooby snacks
Scooby
and little
snacks?
graham cracker things? When I was younger, my mom actually bought those for me. Like,
Is that
if I
right?
was in she's like, what you doing for a Scooby snack? I was like, yeah, yeah, I do. I took
Did
it
she
too
throw it up
serious.
in the air and you have to catch it?
Nah,
in your mouth?
she didn't do that. She just gave me a little bag.
All right. What are we doing here? Let's see.
Play it
Oh,
again.
they're just showing you how the fluid flow through
Yeah.
the shock between rebound and compression. Okay, your McPherson strut. This is what you're going to find on most cars. Basic light cars, passenger cars like you see. 100,000 of them on the road. Most of them have McPherson front suspension. It includes the spring that transfers away the body to the wheel. A modified strut does not include a spring as part of the assembly. The spring is off-board on a modified strut. Multi-link suspension uses 2 arms as well as a structural assembly. As we go through this sometimes, I know that this gets confusing sometimes because one of the reasons is they don't have one way of making a car, right? They don't have one way of designing an engine or a suspension system or a transmission or whatever, right? So it would be a whole lot easier for all of us if all the cars were made the same way. And I could say, this is your front suspension, that's how it works, they're all this way.
Yeah.
It would be so much easier to understand, right? Because as soon as you think you get this, then we go, okay, well, it could have this type, it could have this type, it could have this type. So it makes this class very difficult. Working on cars is a lot more difficult than people think it is,
Oh, yeah.
you know, a lot more. But here's the thing. I use an example of maybe one of these other classes here, right? There's only one way to teach how to drive a truck, right? It's either a manual or automatic transmission. That's really only two differences, right? So let's say you're taking the CNA class for nursing assistant. It's all the same. They don't say, well, you do this, but it could be done this way, or it could be done this way, or it could be done this way. This is how it is.
Yeah.
So that stuff's a whole lot easier, like phlebotomy. How many ways is there to draw blood? This is how you do it, and they teach you how to do it. This is completely different, because as soon as we talk about one type of something, then I tell you, they could do it this way. You could have this one, you could have this one, you could have this one. So, this class is extremely difficult compared to the other ones. I mean, compared to really anything.
It's random, and I really don't have to bring it up. But my older brother, he came here for the CDO class, which is how I found out about this.
Oh, okay.
And after he graduated, he doesn't even use his CDL. He doesn't even do anything with trucks.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, like he just wasted it. I don't know why he did that or why he chose to. Like I could understand if you were to go to like a warehouse and just get like a simple in the city
Right.
truck driving job.
Right.
He's doing sign holding for construction sites. Like, he's
Oh, is
holding
that right?
little stop signs and shit.
Hmm.
I don't know why you don't just drive a truck, bro. He's like,
Yeah.
you need to.
I've had a lot of students that graduate from this class and never went to work.
That's her, the girl you was talking about.
Molly?
Yeah,
She's one of them, yeah.
yeah. She said that she doesn't do nothing with it.
Yeah.
She ain't doing nothing.
Nope. But you know what? When she came in, she was very good. Like I said, she got the highest grade in the class.
Mm-hmm.
She was dedicated. She never missed a day. And she said, this is the 4 months of my life is this class. Nothing else. She didn't focus on anything
What
else.
was her name again?
Molly. Never missed a day. She had great test scores. She did really good. She's good at the dealer, but
I
She
think
never-
I may know
she
who that
never
is
worked
actually.
with
Not gonna lie.
but again,
Chevy?
it didn't really surprise me that much because again, if you ever met her or saw her, you would just go, this is not for you.
Did she go to Chevy?
I think she was there, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause she was with this one friend, it was her, this girl, her and this other girl.
Is this
With
her?
her all the time.
Is that her?
Nope.
Okay, that must be a different school.
Cause
This girl has all types of fucking.
Definitely not
cars.
her.
Yeah, cause cause when I went to Chevy, it was Thomas, just this white girl with blonde hair and this other girl.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, why you and Thomas together?
Oh,
Did
sure.
she go with somebody to Chevy? The two people or was it another person?
Sometimes she was with another girl.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
I didn't get a good glimpse there. I just saw
Oh,
her.
shit. That's not what I wanted to do. This was a thing she sent me from graduation, but I have a different picture of her, but. Yeah.
Oh,
No.
I've never seen it before.
Yeah. That was her.
Yep. Doesn't look like she would work on cars.
Hey, she looks like what's that one girl's name? Supercar Barbie.
Yeah, Blondie.
Blondie. That's what it is.
Blondie, yeah.
Supercar. I said Barbie. I just know she does that shit. But
Yes.
And it
Definitely
looks like that
doesn't
could be
look
her.
like a girl you work on cars with.
so wait, we get full like cap and gowns when we graduate?
Heck yeah, man, where do you think I got this picture?
Oh, I thought we was just gonna stand there with a certificate.
You dress like this?
No, it's the real thing, man.
I'm gonna pull up in some shorts and my work boots.
You're gonna show up just
No.
like this?
Yeah, with my bonnet on,
Yeah, right?
looking real snazzy.
She just wanted to say she did it for real.
She's like, I know how to work on the car now.
She probably already knew how to work on the car.
She told me that one of the reasons she wanted to take this class is she used to work hospitality at the Wynn, which, to look at her, you go,
I
of
used
course
to
you
do that
did.
too.
Because, you know, that looks like a, seems like, you seem like a perfect person.
Seem like I do that?
What's that?
Does it seem like I do that?
No.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah, I worked at the Marriott Grand Chateau right across from MGM.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was doing housekeeping. I didn't like it. I was there for like 2 months and then I quit because every time I go in the warehouse, like I can understand Spanish more than I can speak it, but I got all these people in my ear telling me all this shit. I'm like, I don't speak Spanish. Like, like I understand like 4 words out of the whole paragraph you just
Yeah.
said to me. So it was like more of a communication
So-
thing.
She was kind of a car girl, though. She liked NASCAR, and she said one day, the radiator was leaking in her car, and she didn't want,
What kind of car is it?
she didn't want to take it somewhere. She had a PT Cruiser. She didn't want anybody to work on it, or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
So she said, I got on YouTube and I figured out how to do it, and I did it myself, and, you know, said I really enjoyed it, and I decided I don't want to do it.
Nothing wrong
Okay.
with that.
Huh?
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, I would have been really surprised if she had gone to work somewhere, so it didn't really surprise me that she didn't. She wanted to go to Audi. They didn't have a room for her, so I don't think she had like a second choice, so I don't know. I told her I'd see what I could do to get her in there, but they just weren't hiring right then.
They hired this one girl, when I went over there, they just hired this one girl.
Yep, that was the girl that was in the class with her,
Oh, she-
and they were buddy, but she got the job first, I guess. Yeah. All right. Modified strut. Similar to the McPherson strut, except the coil spring is seated on the lower control arm, not part of the strut assembly. So all they did was they moved the spring from the strut down to the lower control arm. Again, another way to do the same thing. It all accomplishes the same thing, it's just a different way to do it. Okay? Again, it would be nice if everybody did this, their suspension the same way, and I could just say, this is how it is. Unfortunately, that's not how it is, so sorry that there's so many different ways that they build cars. And the other thing is, cars change all the time. They come out with new stuff all the time, right?
Yeah.
Cars have been evolving since the beginning of cars. Sure, technology advances a little bit, but let's say you're doing nursing assistant. Is it really gonna change that much from year to year? No. Are they gonna change how they do blood draws? No. So, cars is, you know, a lot more difficult than most other things, and most people think it is, which is one of the reasons it costs so much to get your car fixed. So, just think of all the money you'll save working on your own car, if nothing else, right? Of course, there's obviously gonna be things you won't be able to do unless you just, you know, start doing it, and then you'll kind of get it. All right, strut suspension. Again, one control arm, one ball joint, because your strut becomes the upper structural pivot point. No need for a ball joint. That becomes the top part of the suspension. Most of them are like that, okay? One lower control arm, strut. Hyper strut we talked about for a minute. It's used on the SLA suspension. Advantages: reduced torque steer, improved impact isolation on bumps and rough roads, enables use of bigger wheels, which got very popular a few years ago, right? Almost everything has 20s on it from the factory now, especially trucks. Allows camera adjustment, screws on the steering knuckle we'll get into later when we do alignment stuff. That is a hyper strut compared to a conventional McPherson strut on the right. Not a whole lot of difference, but basically this is what you're going to notice mostly, is where it goes, hooks. The regular old McPherson strut, you'll just have 2 bolts that'll go to your steering knuckle here. This one will have actually like an arm that goes up here. Multi-link front suspension. Lower control arm, upper control arm. coilover spring, steering knuckle, obviously you're gonna have to have a steering knuckle. Doing suspension system service. Whenever the driver notices the vehicle is not riding or handling as it should be brought into a technician to repair or align the vehicle. Anytime you replace a suspension component, you should have the alignment checked, right? Because sometimes it'll change, right? A smart technician, which we should all be, right, should always road test vehicle before and after servicing. Before, so you know what's going on with it, after to make sure it doesn't do whatever it was doing anymore, and it is actually fixed. Okay? While driving, try to determine when and where the noise or problem occurs, such as, does it do it in cold or warm weather, engine cold or warm, turning, left, right, stopping, whatever it is.
Just this.
Proper road test for any suspension system problem should include the following. Drive beside parked cars or next to a wall or something like that we'd like to talk about before because you can hear it better. You get the echo off of the wall of the parked cars, right? Into driveway. Why would you do that? Because it kind of, driveway kind of has a little bump kind of. In reverse while turning. Sometimes only small suspension components will make noises while you're backing up and turning, like pulling out a driveway or something. Okay? Over a bumpy road, again, depending on what's worn or what's making noise. So you may have to drive it in any of those conditions in order to duplicate whatever problem you're having.
Is it not good to go over bump pretty fast, or?
It depends. A lot of times, if the customer comes in with some sort of noise or something like that, when they're going to tell you, like, for the most part, when it happens. I'm driving on this crappy part of Jones, which most of it's crappy between like 215 and like Sunset, right? And my car makes this terrible noise or whatever. You might have to drive it over a bumpy road to hear it. So, and it may not do it any other time. So, who knows? But your dry park test, performed while having an assistant move the steering wheel side to side, feeling observing any free play in the suspension or steering. So basically that's just with the car parked, you have somebody inside the car just kind of moving the steering wheel back and forth while you're looking to see if there's anything going on underneath that doesn't look right. In this analysis, using the dry park test, the technician should observe for any unusual play, meaning something that moves the way it's not supposed to move, or unusual noise, such as front wheel bearings, control arm bushing, wear or movement, or ball joint movement. A thorough visual inspection should include checking the shocks and the struts. Shocks, really, the only thing you got to check on a strut, or on a shock, is it leaking? It's bad. If it's not, just make sure when you bounce on the car, it doesn't, kind of do this 3 or 4 times before it comes to a rest. If it does, shocks are worn out. Pretty simple test. Springs, that's going to change the height. The car's going to be sagging if the springs are bad, because the spring's actually what holds the weight. The shock absorber just keeps it from, dampens the bounce, okay? Stabilizer bar links and bushings, that's your sway bar, for your cornering. Upper and lower shock mounting points if there's a problem, bump stops, body to chassis mounts. Engine and trans axle mounts, suspension arm bushings. You ever go to one of the dealers where they do visual inspections with a phone?
Yeah.
And they'll send it to the customer, and they'll say, okay, well that looks good, and the bushings look good, and they're just doing a quick visual inspection, which is really, it only takes a few minutes. Again, some of this stuff sounds like, shit, it would take all day to inspect all this stuff. It doesn't. It takes a few minutes. So you've seen them do that, right? And some of the dealers, how long does it take? 3 or 4 minutes maybe? And they'll go, okay, well, tread depth on this tire is this, brakes look good, control arm bushings look good, and it really only takes a few minutes to do it. So I told you the story about the pothole that blew the tire out on your girlfriend's BMW, right? So she took it in to get the tire replaced. They put it up in the air and they said, well, with that kind of damage on the tire, we gotta check the suspension, make sure it didn't hurt anything. So they had it up in the air, they did the video and they sent it to her, she sent it to me, and I watched it. Simple, 3-minute, okay, that looks good, this is where the bad spot in the tire was, it didn't bend anything, the bushing looked good. Again, it's a quick visual inspection. Mostly tell you if something's wrong. If the strut is leaking, the cartridge, insert, or the entire strut will have to be replaced, meaning this inner part. Sometimes you can get it with the spring, sometimes you can't, but I, again, would recommend always buying it with the spring. Because that way, all you gotta do is unbolt it, put the new one in, and you're done. If you don't, you have to take it off, you have to compress the spring, put the spring on the new strut. It's just a lot of work that you don't need to do. Now, they have a dust boot on them here, as you can see. These come loose sometimes. It's not necessarily mean it's bad, it just means it's eventually going to wear out quicker because it's going to get dirt and stuff in there. So that front coil spring looks as if been heated with a torch in an attempt to lower the ride height of the vehicle. Obviously, those springs are now junk. Bushings. They should be pretty obvious too. You can tell that this bushing is no good, right? Again, a visual inspection will tell you most of what you need to know. Obviously, this is what a new one would look like, or a good one. That one is obviously not good. Now, this is not going to be the same for every vehicle. Some of them, you will replace the entire control arm if it has a bushing bad. Sometimes if you have a ball joint bad, you'll get a whole control arm. Again, they're making things quicker and easier to fix on cars, okay? Because on the older stuff, if you had a bad control arm bushing, you had to pull the control arm off, you had to press the bushing out, press the new one in, and do the whole thing, right? Kind of like a rebuild on it. A lot of times now, you'll just get a whole control arm. New ball joint, bushings, everything, just put it on. A lot of the stuff they made a lot easier for you guys. Okay, why do we do this dry park test?
Help locate worn or defective suspension components.
All right. Sounds good. Inspection of the ball joints. Depends on if it's a load carrying or following ball joint. There's different ways to test them, but this is something you might want to, I don't know, read up on a little bit on your own, because they're probably going to ask you ball joint test questions and stuff like that. Okay. Normally, you'll get a complaint like a loud popping or squeaking whenever driving over curbs, such as into a driveway, a shimmy type vibration on the steering wheel, vehicle wander or tendency to not track straight, excessive free play in the steering wheel. Ball joint inspection should be done when an alignment is performed or any other part of a comprehensive vehicle inspection. Always check wear indicator type ball joints with the wheels on the ground. To perform a proper non-indicator type ball joint inspection, the force of the vehicle springs must be unloaded from the ball joint. The follower ones should also be inspected while testing the load carrying ball joints. Removal, depending on the car, again, not all the same. Sometimes you'll just get a whole control arm, you don't have to worry about changing the ball joint. Removal process, depending on, you may have to press it out, you may have to drill rivets out. Again, different ways for different cars. Just follow whatever the procedure is for that particular vehicle. Many are equipped with non-replaceable, like I was telling you, whole control arm will have to be replaced. Again, I'd much rather do it that way, to be honest with you. Older cars used to have grease fittings on the suspension components like that right there. You would actually have to grease them when you did the oil change. No more. They're all sealed now. Don't have to grease them. Okay, indicator ball joint should be checked with the weight of the vehicle on the ground. Yeah, we don't worry about that. Using dial indicator with one of those flexible arms on it to check that. Chances are you're never gonna do that, so I wouldn't even worry about that. They're just telling you what could happen if the ball joint was worn out. You might get a little bit of axial movement, a little bit of radial movement, something like that. With the weight off of it, you just kind of do that, or just make sure that, you know, there's no excessive play in there. The spring is attached to the upper control arm. The back should be faced under the frame to check for ball joint wear. Special tool or block of wood could be inserted between the frame and the upper control arm before lifting the vehicle off the ground. This stops the spring force against the upper ball joint so that a true test can be performed. Placing the jack under the frame, check for free play on ball joint used with the McPherson strut. Gonna put the jack under the frame on that one. This is obviously a rusty old ball joint. Okay, another thing they made easier. Older ball joints that looked like that, this was actually a taper fit. These would use a castle nut with a cotter pin through them. These you would have to actually use a special puller on it, or maybe hit the control arm or whatever with a hammer to break that taper loose. Because the more you tighten it, the tighter it gets, right? So you could take the nut off of those and they wouldn't come apart. You actually have to force them apart. Newer ones, they made like a pinch style, to where you just take a bolt out, control arm comes out. Much easier. Taper breaker tool. This is what I was telling you about. This is pretty popular now. This is much better, okay? So here's your ball joint. You can see this little cutout here. It's where the bolt goes through it. Keeps it from coming out. You don't have to break the taper from the press bit. So all you got to do is just take this nut off, pull the bolt out, and the control arm comes loose. Nothing to it. Pinch bolt works much better. That was a much better idea than the other one. But again, they get smarter as cars get, you know, more advanced, stuff like that. And they make things easier. Don't over tighten the pinch bolt. Steering knuckle can be deformed. It causes that pinch bolt to break the ball joint to become separated from the steering knuckle. Just don't squeeze it like you see on the bottom there, okay? You get the nut tight, it's all you need to do. You don't need to kill it. I don't know if you'll see this, I don't see it very often, but sometimes in order to get the struts off of a car, they didn't bolt them on, they riveted them to the body. You would have to drill the rivets out, take a drill, and then a punch and knock the rivets out, and then you would just put bolts back in it, put it back together. This is just a ball joint press, if you had the press-in ball joints like that. Just a big C-clamp. This is how it would work. New one in, put the tool back on there, and then just squeeze it back into there, press fit. All right. Symptoms of defective ball joint, what do you think?
Oh, my fault.
What happened?
I was gonna ask you a question.
Oh, okay.
I'll wait for this.
What are the symptoms of defective ball joint?
Excessive play.
Excessive play, where are we at?
1424.
1424.
I found that on the page before.
Symptoms of a defective ball joint. 1421, defective ball joints can cause looseness in the steering. Common driver complaints such as loud popping whenever driving over curbs, shimmy type vibration, that kind of thing. Okay, we don't care about kingpin, you don't really see those anymore.
I forgot.
I'm gonna tell you how to get it out of there, but we don't care about that. Replacement shock absorbers may be required when the following symptoms appear. This is indication of shocks or struts that are worn out. Ride harshness, frequent bottoming out on rough road, extended vehicle movement after driving on dips or a rise in the road. Cuppy tire wear. Hydraulic oil leaking from the shock. Front shock replacement can be done with the vehicle on the ground or on a hoist, either way. Special sockets or other tools sometimes are required. Removal of the lower mount. Most of the shock absorbers involve removal of 2 bolts. This one that goes right up through the spring, pretty easy. You just have a nut on the top right here, the frame, 2 bolts down here. You take these 2 bolts out, take that down, shock comes right out. Put new one in. Very easy. Yeah.
So OE is original equipment.
Uh-huh.
What is OEM? Manufacturer?
Same thing, yeah. Original equipment manufacturer, right.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Exactly. Okay, most vehicles equipped with McPherson strut. Strut replacement involves the following steps. Again, these are normally pretty easy to do, and it's a common, almost like maintenance type thing. You know, probably, I don't know. I'm not saying you have to do it every 20, 30,000 miles, but it's probably gonna be worn out by 80 or 100,000. Hoist the vehicle, remove the wheels, mark the attaching bolts. Remove the upper strut bolts except for one. Why is that? There's gonna be 3 of them. Usually in a pattern like this. Okay? Take 2 of them out, loosen the other one, leave it in. Tell you why in a minute. Remove the brake caliper hose. Usually there's a brake hose on the strut somewhere. It's just a little 10mm bolt. Normally you just take that off. It takes 2 seconds. After removing all of the lower attaching bolts, remove the final strut bolt. The reason is you take 2 of them out, leave 1 loose, okay? So when you disconnect it from the bottom, it doesn't fall out. That way when you get it disconnected from the bottom, you can just reach up, take that bolt or nut out, and then just pull the strut out. Okay? That just keeps it from falling out. If you have to compress the spring, that requires a tool. This is what it would look like. And again, this is gonna be under the hood, okay, so as you open the hood, you'll see where the struts are mounted. That's your little clip. Sometimes it'll have a bolt, sometimes it'll just have a clip on the brake hose. All you gotta do is just pull this clip off of there, pull the brake hose out of the way, because it's attached to the strut, okay? Spring compressor, I'm sure you've seen those in the shop. Again, if you can get away from buying just the cartridge, buy a whole strut so you don't have to worry about compressing the spring. But if you do, it's a pain. I like doing things the easy way if I can. Okay, stabilizer bar links and bushings. Most common symptom of that is noise while turning, especially over bumps. Stabilizer link kits are purchased as a kit. Come with the bushing retainer, the long bolt, lock nut, all that stuff. Stabilizer bushing replacement involves removing or unbolting the bushing retainers from the frame. But these link kits you can buy just like this, comes with all this stuff. Sometimes these bushings wear out, you just buy that whole link kit. Those are easy to change as well. Strut rod bushings, you don't see too many cars with strut rods on them, I wouldn't worry too much about that, but that will give you a forward and backward during braking or acceleration, hitting bumps noise. Can be removed from the vehicle and replaced, the bushing can be reinstalled. Typical strut rod bushing, okay. Front coil springs. If the springs are sagging, the vehicle will bottom out against suspension bumpers, cause the tires to slide laterally side to side across the pavement. Cause you all kinds of funny problems. Springs should always be replaced in pairs. Okay? Don't put one spring on it. Okay? Same with the leaf, whether it's a leaf spring or coil spring, same with the struts. Don't put one on it. Change them in pairs, all right? Several aftermarket alternatives are available. Care should be exercised when compressing a spring, obviously. Follow whatever procedures you're supposed to do when you change the spring. The front coil springs are sagging. The resulting angle of lower control arm causes the wheels to move side to side as the suspension moves up and down. Note the difference between distance A with a good spring and distance B with a sagging spring. All right. Different type of spring compressor. If you don't actually have the one they use in the shop, you can actually rent these spring compressors at the parts stores, but again, if you can get away with it, not doing it, just buy the whole strut. This would be taking the spring out of an SLA suspension. They're going to drop the lower control arm there, drop the spring out of it. When you put that spring in, that hole should be completely covered. You see the two holes there? One of them should be partially open, one should be completely covered. Make sure you got the spring in there right. What are the symptoms of a failed coil spring? This should be easy. The car's going to sag, right? Steering knuckle. If a steering knuckle has any type of damage, it has to be replaced. Cannot do a repair on a steering knuckle. Torsion bars designed with adjustable bolt, tooth, change right height. Adjustments are typically made during alignment. By rotating the adjusting bolt, the vehicle can be raised or lowered, like we talked about before. That's a better picture of how it works. This is just going to put more or less tension on that strut rod from this adjusted bolt here. Control arm bushings, they are a common source of vehicle handling and suspension noise. Replacement depends on the vehicle. Some will have to be pressed out, some will have to have an entire control arm replaced. Some are not serviceable, which means you would have to replace the whole control arm. We saw the bushing press before. If they're pressed into the control arm, that's how you would do that. And this is strut replacement. See how many tools it takes to do a strut? Not very many. Actually, it might take a few more than that. That's pretty simplistic there, but they're actually pretty easy. So this is what you do. Take the wheel off. Take these two bolts out. There'll be two big bolts there. Okay? This guy's putting one of them on backwards and using a hammer to knock them out, which is common to do. You don't want to hit the threads of the bolt, that's why they do that, okay? Separate it there. There's your three on the top. Once you get those out, strut comes right out. This is being put in a spring compressor, which, again, I would definitely have somebody help you with that, or do it for you so you can watch, see how it's done. I wouldn't, if you've never done one, I wouldn't do it by yourself, okay? Have somebody help you. And then the reinstall, honestly, it's an easy job, especially if you don't have to change the springs.
Not open book?
Yeah,
It is? Okay.
sure.
Just wanna make sure.
Sure. These are regular ones that are gonna show up on the test, so these are the ones you need to keep track of and understand in order to do good on your graded test on Wednesday.
Ron?
Yes,
Are
sir?
these ones on the test?
What's that?
Are these ones on the test?
These other ones that I give you, the big long ones?
Yeah, like that 23 word.
No.
No?
Some of them are, but again, these little 10-question quizzes that we do at the end of each chapter is what you really need to study.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay? I wouldn't worry too much about the other ones.
All right.
A lot of the questions are repeat anyway.
When it's saying loaded or unloaded, that just means it's like raised or not?
That means is the ball joint, does it have a load on it or not?
Okay.
Depending on where the ball joint's located, you may have to put a jack under the control arm, you have to put it in the frame.
Got you.
Because not everybody likes the same idea. How we doing? Done?
Almost done.
Almost done? How's the back row doing?
I'm done.
Done?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, give me a couple more minutes. In fact, whenever you're done, just start us off. How about that?
Gotcha. Alright. A proper road test should include which of the following? D?
Anybody not get D? That's what I thought. Everybody knew that, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Technician A says that a road test should never be performed before service for safety reasons. Technician B says that the purpose of any diagnosis is to eliminate known good components. Neither.
Technician B.
B, yeah. Never performed before service, that's not right. Sometimes it's absolutely necessary to drive it before you work on it.
Two technicians are discussing non-indicator type ball joint inspection. Technician A says the vehicle should be on the ground with the ball joints loaded, then check for pre-flare. Technician B says the ball joint should be unloaded before checking for pre-flare. Which technician is correct?
B?
Question 2.
Yeah,
You know, it says that the purpose of diagnosis is to eliminate known good components. What do you mean? The good ones? Like, let me get a bad one.
What does it mean eliminate?
well, it does, but this is basically the opposite of that. So what it's saying here is to eliminate known good components, meaning you don't replace something that's not bad. You see what I'm saying? They could have worded it the other way, to identify worn components or bad components. They just worded it backwards, but it means the same thing. Yeah, I know it's weird, but
I chose D. I don't know why.
That's all right. I can understand that, but that's why. It's just a different wording to say the same thing.
No,
They could have said to identify worn or broken parts or whatever, or to eliminate known good ones. Meaning, you wanna eliminate this part because it's good, meaning you wanna eliminate that as a possibility. Meaning you don't replace good parts.
3 is B though, right?
Yes, 4,
Ignore it when you're pulling towards one side and braking. Similarly, or ignoring.
B.
good, strut rod bushing, yeah. Yeah, all right.
Condition A says it's a good idea to recommend replacing upper strut bearings when replacing
Yep,
struts.
first strut, yeah.
Technician B says that all MacPherson's struts can be serviced by replacing the cartridge inside the strut assembly.
B?
A.
Put A.
Doesn't like
Technician A.
the McPherson not have upper struts?
Technician B says that all McPherson struts can be serviced, but it says many are, but not all of them. Is that? And it says it talks about the struts right before it too. McPherson struts are replaced as an entire unit assembly of many McPherson struts. Other struts can have the cartridge inside the housing replaced. The cartridge is installed after removing the gland nut at the top of the strut tube, removing the original strut rod. Where's that? Oh shit, never mind.
Okay, if you look on 1429, top left, there's a drawing of a strut. Now, as I mentioned before, if you buy the strut as a complete assembly with the spring and everything, there is no need to look at the bearing because you're getting a new one. If you're replacing the spring, like you see in this picture, you see the third piece from the top is the bearing. You would have to inspect that because you're reusing that part of the strut because you just bought the cartridge. You didn't buy the whole strut, okay? So if you buy the whole thing, it eliminates the need to have even mess with that or change the spring.
So would that be both then? Because it says always manufacturer's recommendation.
Recommended, yeah, that would be good.
It says always replace the cartridge assembly per the manufacturer's recommended procedure. I didn't read that part the first time.
Okay, so let's see what, B is right.
Okay.
I'm sorry, A is right.
Okay.
All struts can be serviced by replacing the cartridge inside the strut.
See, this one it says many McPherson struts are replaced as an entire unit assembly.
Yeah,
Other struts can have the cartridge inside the housing replaced.
they can.
But at the bottom of that same sentence it says always replace the cartridge assembly per the manufacturer's recommended procedure. So it's kind of contradicting, it's confusing.
It kind of does. So
So would that be both?
It
What
would-
answer do they want?
it would be both of them.
Okay. Well, yeah, what is the answer on there?
So C?
This says A, but sometimes I don't believe it.
I don't believe that either, because in the book it says it's both.
Sometimes the answer sheet's wrong.
Then again, it says all McPherson struts. This one says many McPherson struts can be serviced,
that's
but it
true.
also
That's
says
true.
always
Maybe
replace
this
the
is why,
cartridge.
yeah,
Let's go with A.
that's true,
So
yeah.
then A, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's the difference.
you're right. This is the word that messed the whole thing up, didn't it?
Yeah.
See, even that gets by me sometimes. Yeah, okay.
So,
Sorry.
okay, good.
It is
Hey,
gonna be
I thought I was
just
wrong.
A. Yeah.
I thought I was wrong.
No, you did good. You caught the word.
What should we take, what to do when a person stabilizes the bar with B?
B, yes. 7.
Two technicians are discussing suspension bushings. Technician A says that replacing control arm bushings usually requires special tools. Technician B says using high performance urethane bushings may cause excessive noise to be transferred to the passenger compartment. Which technician is correct? Is it both?
Or are they both correct? Yes, urethane bushings transfer a little more noise than rubber, so, but they give less, so they give you a little bit better handling and stuff, so.
6 is B.
6 is B, yes, uh-huh.
Number 8.
8, yeah.
Where is the most common location for the coil spring on an SLA front suspension?
You didn't get that one?
No.
No?
We're on 8, right?
We are. Where is the most common location for the spring on an SLA? Who knows?
B.
What is it?
B?
Nope. Lower control arm. All right, 9.
Technician A says that many people use lower control arm with non-removable ball joint. Technician B says heat should be used to bend deform suspension component with specification. Which
Okay.
technician is correct?
8.
Is it
Is it B or both?
is it A? It's A?
Many vehicles do use lower control arms with non-removable jowl joints. Remember, you would have to get an entire control arm, which is actually a better way to do it, if you ask me.
And then.
Should
10
you heat and bend a deformed suspension component? No,
No.
don't ever do that.
Unless you're gonna replace everything. And then 10 is A, right?
10 is A, yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, where we at? 117B.
I'm doing dandy.
Okay. Which of the following is not helpful information in diagnosing a suspension problem?
With a warm or cold engine?
Not helpful.
Which one of these is not helpful? They all are.
Okay.
Sometimes when it says which of these is not, the answer is, well, all of them are, so there's not one that isn't. What does SLA mean?
Short, long.
Short, long arm, right? Dang it, you know what it is. Proper road test, we did. Dry park test. Can be useful to diagnose which of the following?
Oh.
Front wheel bearing failure, control arm bushing, all of them?
All of them. Do you use a hammer to seat the ball joint into the control arm?
Both.
No.
Never mind.
Use the C clamp, proper tool, right?
So
So it's gonna be
technically
B for 5. 6, anybody remember this one?
Manufacturer specified maximum.
Yep.
axial.
D, yeah, 50,000. We did that question? No, we didn't. Or did we?
Yeah, it's A.
Yeah, we did. A, yeah. Where are the kid ball joints? We did that one. We did that one. We did that one. All right. Okay, let's see if there's any questions in the book and we'll get out of here. 1440. Question 1, disadvantages of a solid front axle on a vehicle are what? Disadvantages, meaning it's not independent suspension. What are the disadvantages? You on 1440 back there? Come on, Jay. You with us? Come on, brother. 1440, come on.
Is it
You can
all-
do it. We only got a couple more minutes.
Is it all of them?
It's, I'm sorry,
All D?
all of them? The wheels cannot be turned? That would be a problem. Lack of ride quality. Solid front axle, ride quality sucks, but they mostly use those on trucks, they didn't care. Okay, we did 2, right?
Yes.
Unusual noise can be D, yep.
We did 4.
Strut rod bushing, we did that one, right?
You did 5.
We did 5, we did 6. I'm sorry, what's that? 5 is B. 6 is D. Okay, you're gonna see this one. Light film of oil observed on the upper area of the shock absorber. Tech A says this condition is considered normal.
B only, wait.
Technician B says
No, it's not.
a rod seal may bleed fluid during cold weather, causing the oil film.
I don't think so.
B only, right?
What's that?
Nah, they're both correct. You said it was a little bit, it's cool. Supposed to bleed a little bit.
So
They're both right.
Both.
Yeah, like, bro,
Light film of oil is not unusual, okay?
it's like a lot in here.
Yeah, if it looks like it's just leaking or you actually see oil, that's bad, okay? Light film, don't worry about it. Okay, before the strut insert can be removed from the typical McPherson strut assembly, which operation is necessary to prevent personal injury, you have to compress the spring. If you take that apart without compressing the spring, it will knock your head off, okay? As soon as that spring unloads, it's gonna hit you.
I see something come out on the internet. Like his hands got locked in.
Yeah,
You go in and just swing his hands.
we did 8,
We did 9, 10.
and we did 9 and 10, right? Yeah, 9 is B, 10 is C, right? Yep. All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow.
You're not coming, right?
So what time did you guys,